Anyway, sorry. I did see your question, and I think, and I actually, so, and you'll probably understand why in a second, but I actually do care about, the American Revolutionary War as probably a bit more than most than lots of Americans, because I grew up. I would say I'm from South Carolina. I was born in Maryland. I was born outside of D.C., but I grew up in South Carolina my whole life, basically. And then I'm in Georgia now, so still in the South. I'm from South Carolina. Grew up there my whole life, and even though my parents aren't from South Carolina, I definitely have a lot of I guess you call it civic pride. I'm not in Atlanta. No, I'm not gonna say where I am exactly, but I'm at a university town in Georgia. That is a small city. Anyways, but in South Carolina was like one of the prime fighting grounds of the American Revolutionary War. A lot of people, might not know this, especially like Europeans who might not have an interest in American history. But okay, so this is where I'm like, maybe I should backstab Austria here. But it's just Bavaria. They're gonna win anyways. I might as well just try to like block off their land. So, maybe they'll give me Pilsen. I have Pilsners in my fridge. I'm gonna go get one. No, not right now. I'm drinking coffee still. I plan on streaming a lot today, by the way, just so you guys know. If anyone doesn't have anything going on, I'm probably gonna be streaming for the next like at least 6 or 7 hours. I might take a break at some point, but So a lot of people might not know this, but so South Carolina was the southernmost state at the time. Well, because actually, so I always forget if Atlanta was one of the founding colonies. I don't think they were. I think they were like a territory or whatever, right? It was, let's see, South Carolina, North Carolina, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Delaware, New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts. Shit, dude. Rhode Island, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, but wasn't Maine part of Massachusetts? Shit, I can't remember. But like, for me, I grew up in South Carolina, and I'm pretty sure like after, I think Georgia was one of the colonies. Okay, so it's not the southernmost of the colonies, but still, I do know though that a lot of the Revolutionary War battles, I think South Carolina had like the third most Revolutionary War battles out of the colonies. I'm pretty sure it was like Pennsylvania and like New York, and then South Carolina. I don't know if one of you guys wants to look it up, you can, but I'm pretty sure it's up there. Like I'm pretty sure it's up there, and a large reason why people might, now you're like, well, South Carolina nowadays is not really that relevant, right? And that's pretty much true. But the big reason why is because Charleston, the port of Charleston, was, and actually still is, one of the more important ports in the east coast of the U.S. and all the U.S. I think Charleston even today is is one of the top 10 largest like ports by volume of containers and stuff that go through it, and product that goes through it. Charleston, South Carolina is a big port, and it's like actually the largest city in South Carolina if you include surrounding areas. It's a city of about 500,000 people. That's pretty big, with all the surrounding areas again. But still, it's an important area, and beyond that. In colonial days, it was even more important. Charleston is at a major delta. We do have some good names, I will say that. Florence and Spartanburg. Yeah, Spartanburg I always thought was a cool name. Greenville's boring and is like one of the more generic names, but but yeah, so I'm sorry that I'm very rambly and losing my train of thought. Obviously this is off the cuff, not like a video essay, but hopefully I'm at least being entertaining. We have so much military power, dude. What can we spend military power on? Rolling generals? Might as well do that a little bit. Um, so, and I'm sorry I'm not responding to your guys' stuff either. I'm going to try to get to it because there's some stuff I want to respond to as well. But, you know, I'm pretty sure South Carolina has one of the highest percentage... I do like that sound, too. Highest percentage, or share out of the Revolutionary War battles. And what we should do, actually, is just try to make money for a bit so we can buy a province. I keep spending my money, but... a large and part of that is because Charleston in the colonial era and the the Revolutionary era was a much larger port proportionally for colonial North America, right? For the 13 colonies, Charleston was one of the most important ports, especially because South Carolina has always been an agricultural state, and obviously pre-industrial revolution, agriculture and having access to agricultural hotspots, or what am I trying to say? Having good farmland and river deltas, which South Carolina has, and fertile areas to grow things. It's fairly important in a pre-industrial era, and so I'm actually going to break my lines with Austria because they are going to call me in against the Ottomans. Here's what I'll do: pop that up. Might as well just do this. I don't know if that even does anything, but if they're about to declare on the Ottomans, let them get screwed over. And so Charleston was a very important colonial and Revolutionary era fort, even into like the Industrial Revolution, and even now, like I said, right? But oh shit, you're right. We should keep the forts on. You're right. But the and so because of that, a lot of like the British invasion, there was a whole British invasion that focused on the south as well as the north, right? There were multiple fronts. And one of the main ones, there was the northern one, and then the southern one focused on all the southern states, like Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, right? But South Carolina was one of the primary fighting grounds, right? And especially in the upstate of South Carolina, in the border between North Carolina and South Carolina. For instance, the Battle of Kings Mountain you probably have heard of, and that's really cool. I've actually been to Kings Mountain probably half a dozen times. My Boy Scout troop used to go on camping trips right in that area for weekends. And we would camp in Kings Mountain State Park. The Battle of Cowpens, right? Can't tell you how many times I've passed cowpens on the highway when I was in college going to visit my girlfriend. Right? And so the Battle of Cowpens and the Battle of Kings Mountain, those are two of the most famous Revolutionary War battles that are widely accredited with turning the tide, because the Northern Campaign early on was pretty much not really going so well for the colonies, but the Southern Campaign is where some major wins started happening for the Southern side, or not for the Southern side. It's not like the Civil War, for the colonial side versus the Brits. And so, oh my God, whoa, wait, did it say? Oh, I see. Okay, never mind. I'm a dummy. Hold on. Shit, now we can't do it. It got gobbled up. RIP. Shit, dude. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, so I would definitely say that, what's it called? Should probably backstab Denmark too, huh? Are you fighting? We'll see. Also, that actually, Copper, that was actually what I was about to go into. Part of the reason that we won, part of the reason that America in general won, but especially in the Southern Front, that we won, is because of guerrilla warfare. For instance, here's a cool little historical thing, right? So, if you've seen the movie The Patriot, then you probably are familiar with like the kind of the tropes, I guess, surrounding it. But But the Patriot is, I don't remember if it's actually based in South Carolina or just kind of a generic version of the South, but it is based off of, I believe, one of the South Carolinian guerrilla warfare dudes. Basically, the reason that South Carolina warfare, like the South Carolinian, North Carolinian, Georgian, basically the reason that the battles down here in the South actually were successful is because of the fact that you could dab on the Knights and take their colonial land. Might as well. Part of the reason that that the war turned out so well in the South in the early phases, especially, and even continuing later, is that there was no organized army, but the militiamen. And this was true of the North too. Don't get me wrong. The militiamen were part of the reason that like the initial battles of the war turned out so differently than other battles did that the British Empire was facing in India, for instance. Because instead of it being like line armies lining up and shooting at each other, then the American forces would hide behind trees and hit and run tactics, right? And obviously these, so that's the thing. These tactics aren't new to the world. This has been an idea for millennia. But in the era of sort of like line infantry and musket men and stuff, I think it was somewhat not a tactic used against it really until that point. And so in the American Revolutionary War, then this was very effective, and especially in the South. Let me tell you, if it was let me tell you, if you've never been to South Carolina, it is during the summer specifically. It is humid as fuck. I believe Ponce de Leon was actually one of the earlier conquistadors and explorers to come to southern modern day United States, and I believe that he basically described the area that is modern day South Carolina, Florida, and Georgia as a jungle, right? and obviously Florida fits that a little more than South Carolina. But South Carolina, tell you what, if you've been to the southern United States, then you know that the humidity and the heat can be pretty damn brutal, especially if you don't have AC and if you're out in the woods. Oof, it can be very brutal. And yeah, like I said, there's definitely obviously been guerrilla tactics before. So definitely it's not the progenitor of all guerrilla tactics. But it certainly worked effectively in the American Revolutionary War, and it's an example of an effective, more modern, not really modern, but post or early modern time period, I guess you could say, use of it. The Incans are another good example, yeah. But yeah, so like we should definitely make this a state. By the way, no reason not to. Definitely make this a state. No reason not to. I had other points that I saw in development. I should have just done that. Oh my god, we have chances here. Spain and Portugal. The unfortunate thing is, why don't you have an heir? Do you have a special government type? They have an emperorship. That's just their government rank. But yeah, let's see. Do we have... I should build my... I want to build this fleet, even though it's going to put us way over and take actually forever. Hold on, let's wait on that. So yeah, so like there's actually quite a few famous sort of folk heroes, you could say, and war heroes from the Revolutionary War in South Carolina specifically, that were from South Carolina, fought in South Carolina. So basically the modus operandi in South Carolina was you know, basically these dudes who were local leaders, like local political leaders, basically the I don't know, there doesn't really exist a term, but that you could say they were the mayors or the aldermen or whatever, sheriffs type deal in these small South Carolina towns, and they essentially just or politicians, right? Or even I think some of them were even lawyers, right? But they basically, when it came time for war, they essentially like grabbed all their buddies and were like, hey, we're going into the swamp and into the woods, and we're going to just harass these British troops to the point where they can't be supplied, where they can't get new troops in, where they get lost, where they die. And that was basically the strategy. And so there were like these bands of men, like small groups of men, a couple hundred men or something. I don't actually know the exact numbers. They basically just did hit and run tactics, ambushes, supply train raids, right? And basically fought the British in South Carolina and inflicted a lot of damage, not just casualties, but like, you know, supply train and infrastructural damage. And they there's quite a few famous ones. Let me actually look up, because I want to actually, it's really cool, and you guys might enjoy knowing the names. The most famous one is the Swamp Fox. Francis Marion, who we have a county named after, was the Swamp Fox. And if you want to look him up, he was pretty cool. He's fairly famous. Yeah, thanks for hanging out, Luke Sfera. The Swamp Fox. Then there was Thomas Sumter, also has a county named after him. Thomas Sumter, I actually worked in Sumter for a summer. Thomas Sumter was called, what was his general? The Carolina Gamecock, which, if you know anything about college mascots, that will sound familiar. The Carolina Gamecock. And then there was there was a little bit less well known, but Andrew Pickens, who fought further in the upstate, was the Wizard Owl, which is also a cool name, by the way. The Wizard Owl also has a county named after him, the county where I went to school. It's kind of funny, right? It's still fairly relevant. Their names are very well known, obviously, still today. So the Wizard Owl. Basically, these guys, the Wizard Owl, the Swamp Fox, and the Carolina Gamecock, these were figures who basically, I think actually several of them served as generals under the British, right? But then fought against the British, right? I think that was common with all of the colonies. And yeah, it's actually, I think it's pretty cool that our history is that close to us still. And obviously, I'm not like a what would you call it? I'm not like a name the cock, yeah. I mean, a gamecock is like this is kind of dark and not so good, but like, you know, cockfights were a big thing in the South in that time period, and were up until fairly recently. So, and that's obviously not cool, but the gamecock as an animal, you know, is like a fighting animal and stuff, and so if you don't, I don't mind actually talking about like the school I went to for undergrad. I actually went to Clemson University in upstate South Carolina, and it's funny because the Carolina Gamecocks are our rivals, but I actually respect their mascot and their origin, because it's named after a Revolutionary War hero, Thomas Sumter, the Carolina Gamecock, who was definitely the most, or was probably the most famous after Francis Marion. So anyways, I actually respect their mascot, even though I will make fun of a Gamecock fan any day of the week. But yeah, you know, obviously rivalries are meant in good fun, and at the end of the day, you gotta respect, you can respect something like that. So the Civil War definitely has folk heroes like that, but I don't really care about the Civil War as much. And there are plenty of people here who like the Civil War in ways that I don't agree with. I don't know. Civil Wars never really interested me as much as the Revolutionary War. Even though the Civil War probably had a bigger impact on our society down to today. But I think I try to distance myself from it because of the fact that I see more Confederate jacks than I'd like to admit, which they aren't even the Confederate flags. They were like, what is it? It was the flag of like the North Virginia Regiment or something. Anyways, don't like it. Yeah, the American Civil War is what I'm talking about. Yeah. So I want to beat up the Knights, but unfortunately, I realize now I don't really have any way to get to them, and Milan is not going to be able to get to them. So this was probably a mistake. Come on, will East Frisia make it maybe? But anyways, so Regency is okay. Fuck, that's an actual Regency though. I hate everything. Well, tell you what, then we can definitely afford to wait in this war and take as much as possible. I mean, there's been lots of civil wars, yeah. So I would say, if you call it like, the American Civil War specifies it, but there's also a discussion to be had. I'm not going to get into it here, right? But there's obviously a discussion to be had about this is a little too. I don't really care to get into this because it's very specific and But there's a discussion to be had about the term American being used for stuff that relates to the United States of America versus all of the Americas, but. Because, Walrider, he's from Chile, and he's American. He's just as American as I am. But when you hear an American, as in from the U.S., say American, they mean, America. But yeah, and it's kind of not fair, right? Anyways, that's as much as I'll say about that. Darn it. Since they have so many people with their dynasty, there's no way that we're gonna get it, which sucks. Didn't we need stability to modernize? Stability at least 2. Might as well buy that now. We're not doing anything else. Heck, why not just do that? We had new policies, right? We already did the ones that were good, right? This one's pretty. I like Diplomatic Reputation is always good. Let's just do that. Estadounidense, yeah. So, I mean, Estadounidense just goes from Estados Unidos, but, it's also kind of weird that the words are mushed together for the nationality, because it's not normally how it works for Spanish. That's funny. Yeah, it literally translates to United Statesian, so, which is kind of funny. Estadounidense. I don't know. It's not. It definitely. It flows off the tongue if you speak Spanish. It doesn't. It's not like too bad. I've seen some. I'll tell you. I've seen some big words in Spanish. Like actually, here I had one in my Discord that I posted because I saw it in like a study, or I wrote it in a study because I wrote it, and it was. It was a word I kind of made up actually because I didn't find anything. What is it? Displaceability. Desplazabilidad, right? Desplazabilidad, that's a long word. And you could make it even bigger. You can make... So, anyways. But, alright. But yeah, so to kind of finish the conversation, since we're going on to other topics, I will say basically, I from being from South Carolina, in a state that has a rich history in regards to the American Revolution, the Revolutionary War, and and has a lot of rich history with the figures in it, like all these local sort of war heroes that were from different parts of the state and fought in these major battles that affected the whole country with their effectiveness, right? you know, I have a lot of like pride in that, and I think it's really cool to have that as part of my state's history. And even though I'm not from South Carolina, I wasn't born there. My family doesn't have any roots there. I grew up there, and I feel like a connection to that, and I have a sense of pride in it. So, and I think it's cool for people to have that in general. That's why I don't think, well, never mind. No, I'm not going to go into that topic. I was going to start talking about exceptionalism and the idea of like, nationalism, but let's just suffice it to say, I think it's cool to have pride in your country or your state or your town, right? I think that's cool if you find something to have pride in. I don't think it should be an excuse to go overboard. Right. That's all I'll say. Without getting overtly political. I think it's a good way to put it. I think patriotism is fine. Nationalism, even like, yeah, nationalism, I don't know. I have conflicted thoughts about nationalism. I'm not going to go into them here, but because nationalism doesn't have to be bad, right? But lots of times it is, or at least not productive, right? I think that's a better way to say it. It's like lots of times nationalism is unproductive to actually moving the world forward in good ways, and that's kind of what I would say. But unfortunately, patriotism also gets lumped in and kind of has other connotations now as well. Oh shit! They vassalized Flanders. I didn't know that. But yeah, that's sort of my thoughts. We should just build these ships because, like, I mean, what else am I gonna do here? I definitely want to full conquer Hanover, but they're not gonna accept it unless I do this. Here, let's 9, 15. Let's just do a. We can just use our trade fleet. But I'm just gonna manually do it because I don't feel like making a new template. If we build 30 transports and then just transfer one of our armies over there, yeah, that'll be good. So Austria is getting destroyed, but unfortunately I can't really make use of that. Because of course I can't. But, anyways, yeah, the idea is, let's see. We were talking about that's the thing though. Colombian wouldn't make sense either. For the, I was confused for a second because Columbia is the capital of South Carolina. Actually, the capital of South Carolina is called Columbia, and that's basically that's near where I grew up. I basically grew up near. That was the major city nearby. So I got confused for a second, but Columbia doesn't really make sense though, because we don't really have any connection to Columbus, and plus Columbus is not like he really, you know. I know there's a lot of there's some controversy about like Columbus Day, for instance, and I personally kind of on the side, not even because I necessarily think Columbus was like the spawn of Satan, right? Like, I'm like, whatever. He wasn't like a great dude, but then again, pretty much most people of the past did stuff that nowadays is very looked down upon. It's more just like, I'm like, I don't think Columbus really did, like, sure, he was brave enough to try to sail across the sea, but why should everything be named after him, right? Like, you know. Anyways. I feel like we should come up with a cool new name for the Americas, like I mean, that's the problem, right? What do you come up with that's new, obviously? But, you know, it's fun to think about. We don't have any cultures to promote besides Czech. So, I mean, what am I gonna do? Might as well just develop shit, I guess. Freedonia. Oh, that would be... Oh, that's so bad. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, not that one. Definitely. Oh, we should upgrade. Oh, we already have 53 development in our capital. Wow, holy shoot. Let's upgrade Frankfurt. Since you said that was like one of the historical proposed capitals of Germany, maybe we'll move it there eventually. And if we do, wait, did I already have that? No, I had institution. I'm gonna put this. And so maybe if we moved it here, you know, let's just get it big. Let's get it big and chonky now, so that it's not a big deal later. Can't do this because we're at war. Okay, fair. How long to attack? It's good for now. Oh, let's do one more. One more. There we go. Yeah, Frankfurt was really important, yeah. So might as well upgrade it anyways. Just, you know, it's a good spot to upgrade, don't get me wrong. I feel very sad. I'm just sitting here not being able to progress at all. Yet everyone around me is declaring wars, and war after war that I could benefit from, because I could go to war with the other people. Yeah, I'm pretty sure like Frankfurt even today is like a fairly important city, right? Like, I mean, what were the other proposed capitals of Germany? I'm assuming like Hamburg was one. I'm assuming like Munich was one. Beyond that, I don't know. Cologne was probably one, like a proposed capital. I could see all of those for, you know, economic or political or cultural reasons. I don't know. Aachen, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I guess it would be Cologne. I guess I meant Aachen because I was thinking of the Rhineland area, and I was like Cologne, but no, Aachen makes more sense. Seeing that was like Charlemagne's capital and everything. Yeah, if they had Germany, or if Germany had Austria, yeah, Vienna definitely would have been an option. But how much of an army does Venice have? Okay, well, so here, while we're waiting for the rest of our navy to finish, here's what we'll do. We'll go to Crete. Yeah, I'm assuming probably even like Ulm was a proposition, because even though people make a joke about Ulm being like a, you know, a world power in EU4, right? They actually were, like, it was actually a important city. Ulm was, for, I believe, you know, for like economic and religious and political reasons. So yeah. Or at least I believe so, right? No, I messed up. I hope that the Ottomans cripple Austria, or at least break their alliances, not sure. Yeah, and that's the thing with Germany. It's like no one city was particularly more important than the rest, right? So it's kind of funny is, you know, to go back to South Carolina. South Carolina actually had a somewhat interesting situation with our capital, because the capital basically by default was Charleston, right? The big important port, but people in the upstate who were a minority of the population and stuff, but did make up an important part of the state's population and industry, or, you know, economy. They had a conflict where basically when they wanted to decide the capital, they're like, well, we don't want all the political power to be in the south, or the southeastern, basically on the coastline, and not further up in the mountains, near the mountains. They're like, if the capital's in the coastline, then all the coastal, plantation owners are going to be the ones with all the power. We don't like that. And so they basically said, well, but the coastal people didn't want it to be up in the middle of the mountains, so they decided to build a new capital right in the middle, and that's what modern day Columbia, South Carolina is the new capital, or it was the new capital that was basically built from the ground up to be a capital, which is kind of interesting. I mean, that's kind of like how DC was, so it's kind of a microcosm of that. I don't really care about conquering Crete. Maybe later. Maybe I'll come back and make Greece a subject if we can. Yeah, but a situation like Germany, I could see, because there were so many different big, like, industrialized and heavily, just important areas. So yeah, that actually makes sense that they. Oh my god, I sent my one troop there. Oh my god, whatever, doesn't matter. We'll wait for that, and then we'll hit the road, or rather the sea. I think I did a long time ago in EU4 unite Germany as Austria, but actually create Germany. I think. Oh, can't even do that? I think you can, right? I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I tried to do that at one point, at least. Maybe I didn't even succeed. I don't remember. Dude. Okay. So what's the goal going to be in West Africa? Well, I have an idea, actually. It's probably a terrible idea. Does Mali still exist? No, they have cores, but they don't exist currently. I like to release Mali lots of the time and just feed Mali all of West Africa except the coast. And I might do that in this campaign because they could help out with, like, if eventually we fight Portugal and Spain, Mali having a big old mega vassal in Africa could actually help out a lot. I think I will do that, honestly. We can cancel our military access, huh? Allied forces within their borders? They took a lot. They didn't release anyone, but did they break it? That's annoying. That's fine. It's fine. We're going to have to figure out something else anyways. There's no empire left, so it's not like imperial stuff really matters. There's no... I mean, it literally doesn't matter at all, yeah. A Danubian Federation? Is that it? Is that a thing in this in these mods? So I can see that being a thing. Or are you just saying that that's something that I should add? That would be cool. Ooh, baby. Frickin' regencies, man. No, I know there's like IRL sort of like conception of that, yeah. I was just wondering if you were bringing it because it's a thing or not. That'd be interesting to add as like a tag in the game. Jolaf? Okay. I'm actually just going to take the one, even though we could take more. I'm not going to. No, I'm not going to do that yet. Just want to make them an easier target in the future so I can just threaten more from them. I don't care to fight them ever again, probably. I mean, for now, we'll leave an army down here anyways, just for rebels. Okay, we have land abroad now. This may sound very strange, right, and very specific, but I've always wondered what it would be like to travel within the Austro-Hungarian Empire in, like, the, I don't know, say, like, the early 1800s. I don't know. I'm like, what would it be like to travel in Austria-Hungary, or whatever it was called at the time, during the early 1800s. You know, like, why the early 1800s? Well, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think, like when it, you know, like when railroads were just being introduced and it was possible to, like, go across Europe more easily by train and stuff. Like, what would that be like to take a train from frickin', I don't know, like northern Italy through Austria to, like, the eastern edge of the Confederation, like, you know, western Romania, modern day Romania, or Transylvania, whatever, you know. Like, what would that be like? What would the experience be, like, linguistically, and just, like, also, I don't know, like, I've seen pictures of like, parts of Hungary and Austria, and it looks really pretty, so I also think it'd just be cool to go through the farmlands and see what it looks like. That's probably the area, again, this is kind of a weird thing to say, but it's probably the area of Europe that I have the least sort of conceptualization of what it actually looks like terrain-wise and climate-wise. So, I know it's a very strange thing to think about, but that's my brain in a nutshell. Anyways. I think we're gonna start annexing East Frisia now. By the way, I don't see any reason not to, so... Whoa, there's a naval march? Yo, that seems like it'd be cool. I'm assuming that just means they get better coastline bonuses. Heck, maybe we'll do that in, like, Ireland or something, I don't know. Also, oh, Scottish, rip. Also, I don't need to be doing a spy network here anymore, huh? Fortunately, I've got to backstab you at some point. If I could get them to fight, hold on. To get them to fight each other. Okay, well, I mean, we kind of gotta wait for a while anyways, so, you know. Here's a question. Still waiting for that to happen. We'll see. If we could take Berlin, we should do it now. Definitely gonna have to backstab Denmark, though. I'm hoping that that Zapadoslavia actually backstabs them first. The Swivel Canon. That's how you pronounce it. I put the emphasis on the wrong syllable. At some point I gotta go make dinner, and then I was thinking about maybe taking a break, or maybe playing a different game for a while, and then doing more U4 later in the night. I don't know. I didn't know that wall right here. I mean, assuming not all the Poles there, but that's interesting to know that that sentiment existed. Where's Galicia in modern day Poland? It's like this area here-ish? I don't think it has a name in this game, but it's like roughly this area, like southern Poland. I remember the first time I was playing Victoria 2, and I was like, Galicia? Why is it taking me to Poland? And I was like, oh, there's another Galicia. And there's actually a couple other ones, too. Austria wants a marriage. Unfortunately, Austria, you are no longer fit to be my ally. In fact, they actually are pretty weakened now, so I don't think we need them anyways. It wouldn't let me cancel my access with them. Can we do it now? Yes. Now all of our connections are gone. A couple more years. Hopefully this dude lives a long time. Knock on wood. If I could break your alliance with France, that would be beautiful. It's actually not too far off, but... I do want to play Kaiserreich, yeah. Don't get me wrong, I do. But it's sort of like when you want to play a big, like, full conversion mod like that, you kind of need to be in the right mindset, or at least I do. I need to be in the right mindset and be, like, ready to learn a lot of new, I was going to say lore, but that's not really, you know, learn the setup and learn the, sort of, the normal patterns and stuff. I don't really think I have the mental energy for that right now. Well, by another game, I mean like a non-strategy game. Probably it would be like Dark Souls 2 or something. Yucatan, okay. That's why you're here, that's fair. So we can't hire, or we can't buy any provinces for them. We could buy one down here now, right? I don't have it as a core yet. Okay, once we get that as a core, we should be able to. Okay, my coffee is done. I bought some, I went to the liquor store today, actually. I normally don't buy, like, liquor, but I figured, you know, I would get some liquor for this weekend. So I got some gin I'm gonna have later. I should untie Germany? I'm just kidding. Unite, yeah. I mean, that is definitely the goal. We have much less aggressive expansion, so we could definitely do quite a. Oh god, I'm not gonna read that out loud wider. That's terrible. Don't say it like that. I mean, it may be true in the context of the game, yes, but I hate to think of it like that. That's the thing. This game, it really desensitizes you, doesn't it? Desensitizes? Desensitivizes? Oh gosh. I can't speak English, can I? This guy says he can speak Spanish, but he can't even speak English. His first language. Yeah, basically true. Wari Calabar. Yeet. Victoria 2 change, yeah, that's fair. No, I mean in the context of you know, these games, it's just what you do. But I don't like normally. I don't know. I even feel uncomfortable talking about it like that. I'm much more comfortable talking. That's why. See, that's why I like CK2, because I don't mind talking about like murdering my wife. You know, I'm fine with talking about murdering my wife. But when you talk about like, you know, slavery or cultural genocide, you know, then I'm like, makes me uncomfortable. I know that's very silly. I know that's very, very silly. Talk about like, oh, I murdered my grandson in CK2, and then, you know, yeah, obviously, it's a bit ridiculous, right? I mean, I wonder why that is, actually. I don't know. I'm not going to psychoanalyze myself right now. No, I'm a dummy. No, I'm a fool. I lowered my absolutism. Or my, I raised autonomy. I'm a fool. I'm a bloody fool. Rip. That's okay. It's one promise. It's fine. Anywho, we have come of age. I think we're, yeah, I was going to say, I think we're going to hit max. Look at that. 100% professionalism, which means we get siege ability plus 20, landfire damage, shock damage, general cost, reduced morale damage taken by reserves, army drill game modifier. Let's go. And we have a shit ton of manpower if we really need it. Can't do that. No reason not to. We will build the Kiel Canal. Heck, we could probably build the Panama one. Here, just murder them. Just murder them. It's like farmlands. Yeah, it's farmlands. I actually like playing in Vicky 2 as a communist state. I find it fun in the late game. Play as communist, and then you just control everything, and then the economy is mine. Anyways, Victoria 2 is a really fun game. I should do more Victoria 2 streams. Maybe that's what we'll do later if we play a different strategy game. Maybe we'll do Victoria 2, play HPM or HFM, because I know that's like, it's basically just an expanded version of HPM, but I've only played HPM. I always, like, to the point where I always thought people meant HPM when they said HFM. I was like, why would they misspell it that way? But no, eventually I was like, no, it's a different thing. Okay, we're gonna do some wars here now. I've never played as most big countries in Victoria 2, even though I know that those are probably the ones that are the most fun, or probably most people would say that. I don't. I've never. What did I say? I've never played really as many of the big ones. I think I played as France once. The largest country, I played as Germany. I played as Prussia to Germany a couple times. I've done Italy a few times. But I've never done Britain. Or the UK or whatever. I've never done the Ottomans. I've never done Austria-Hungary. Never done Russia. Never done, you know. Well, I guess those are most of the other big ones, but still. I'll call in Naples. Why not? If anything, actually, wait. You're allied with Naples. But you're guaranteed. What I need to do is just call all my allies in, so that then I can fight Austria. But we don't even have a border with Austria yet, so not relevant quite yet. Würzburg. Yes, I'm a Würzburger. I'm so sorry. I know, I'm actually the worst. I'm gonna just siege that, it's fine. There's no way we're gonna get everything done. Or, you know, be able to pin everything down. Okay, so we're gonna eat all of Würzburg State, which is just 3 provinces. We might eat this one here as well, because we get a mission from that. We might eat Berlin and Potsdam. We might also eat Württemberg. We'll see. We should beat up Tuscany too. I actually agreed. I agree with you. I agreed with you when you said that in my head. I just never said it, but I definitely think that that would be a good war. Actually, yeah, could I like call in France to this war? Sure, look at that. Guamar, is that's in India, isn't it? No, it's in America. Never mind. Shit, I appear very culturally insensitive. I thought Guamar. I'm thinking of like Guandana or something, which is an area here. Anyways, Gondwana, that's what it is. I was like Guamar, Guan something, Gon. Anyways, let's see. I know I'm very culturally insensitive. So we're gonna do a war with Tuscany as well. Yeah, actually, we have a good few things we can take because we can feed our vassal a good bit, and I will. Oh, I will, baby. Oh yeah. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna wait till we have Pomerania out at the very least. Yeah, we'll eat the shit out of their land up here. Okay, having so many diplomats is actually really nice because I can have like permanent, like auto improving dudes, and then separate ones that are for different things, and it's very nice. Very nice. Okay, well, I mean, this war is actually gonna be really easy now that we have freaking France in the war. So maybe we should just focus on doing the Tuscany things. That way they'll finish around the same time. Firenze will be the war goal. We'll call in Naples to this one as well. Might as well. Yeah, why not? It'll just be a punching bag, really, but still. A professional army? Our army function is okay. It's just the same thing, but it doesn't like do anything there. Mechanically different or additional. We'll keep an army over here in Africa for a while. We'll increase our holdings too, since aggressive expansion somewhat limits us in other areas. Although I don't think long term that'll be a huge problem. We have plenty of military power, might as well do that. Oh my god. Oh. 6521. Holy shit. That is a beautiful, beautiful general. Not a lot of siege, obviously, but that's okay. 6-5. 6 fire, 5 shock basically means that this guy will not lose battles for us. He will be a great combat general. And 1 siege means that he, if we're in a dangerous siege, like a mountain fort that we don't want to lose the progress on, it's good to put him in charge, because even though he is not going to be going too quickly, he will probably be able to win most battles if we have the troops for it nearby. So yeah, I think that's absolutely great. Let's do a late game stack. We don't have any cavalry bonus, so 16 times the detail. 16 410 will work for now. 16 410. Build another army. Let's go. Yeah, because we're trying to get to the point where we could use it. Okay, and there's our Friesland integration, which is beautiful. I don't want to cast state. Yeah, that's good. That's gonna be really good for for everything, for trade power, for coastline in general, for building. We already have this everywhere. Wow, look at that. Yeah, that's beautiful. Oh, and our name gets a little bigger. If I'm gonna be doing another vassal in Africa, that will probably, that puts us over, or that puts us at our cap. I don't mind going over. If anything, maybe we want to vassalize Pomerania? They have a lot of good cores. We could probably, if we did cores in our first war at Denmark, we could probably basically get all the rest of northern Germany here that's not owned by Zapodoslavia. That actually seems like a good idea. I know we get claims on it too, but we still have plenty of other things we're going to core. Like in the south, I think I'm just going to core everything in the south by conquest, I mean. So why don't we just split it up a little differently? On the other hand, we would be barred from forming Germany until we aid them. So, nah, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to save a... We'll just save a vassal slot for someone else. I was like, where did this army come from? It was, what's the races? Freedoms. Well, I mean, let's think. Maybe we should do it. I mean, we have Milan, we're going to have another vassal, we're going to have... It would be nice to have another vassal, don't get me wrong. It's not like we have to annex it early on. If we take influence later as well, you know, we could reduce the cost. Torn. Well, let's think about it like this. We have... If we core this all with admin, that's plenty of admin stuff. I think maybe we will vassalize them. Vicky 2 Austria is great fun with HFM or HPM. I will try that actually, because I do know that Austria is one of the ones that has more of a focus, just even in base Victoria too, like more events and stuff. Because they're freaking, like, they were one of the major powers in that time period and stuff. Like, you know, like it wasn't called the Congress of, you know, London. It was the Congress of Vienna. There was, because it was in Vienna. There, you know, it was important. So, yeah. I will do, and I imagine that HPM and HFM add even more. They definitely do, because they add more to everything, but yeah. I think I'm going to actually vassalize these guys. I think it seems good. Did you know about the 20% Swabians in Banat? I did know that there are German like communities all among, like, scattered throughout Hungary and Romania and Transylvania and stuff. I did know that, but I didn't know specifically that there were Swabians in Banat. But I did know about, like, the German-speaking minorities and stuff. So yeah, okay. So we're gonna vassalize these boys. Again, these guys are the ones that already hate us. So here's what we do. We vassalize you. Yeah, they're not gonna be happy at first. Wait a minute. Do the trade companies work differently? Do you not have to add it manually? Walrider, do you know how do you know how trade companies work in this? Do we not have to actually add them?